Yo guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we'll be talking about the tropics. So we've got a disturbance out over the Atlantic. We've got Hurricane Henri, and we've got Tropical Storm Grace, which is over Mexico right now. Grace did make landfall as a major hurricane there and moved inland. Henri was a tropical storm here. Now it's a hurricane there. It should be moving up towards the land and delivering some storm surge towards these islands here. So just be aware of storm surge there. And then by early September, you should have a tropical wave that should form here, which might become a brief hurricane or major as it tracks along here. That is the projected line though, because if I look at the models, it forms near Jamaica and really it starts to rapidly intensify before moving inland like that. I will show you the models in a bit. Right, active in the East Pack. Right, you do have a disturbance that is going to form. This is the remnants of Grace right now. They are giving us a 70% chance of reformation. If it keeps its LLC, this will become Grace as it moves off the coast. If it doesn't, it'll become, what do you call it? Marty. So at 11 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Tropical Storm Grace, located over the eastern central Mexico, is forecasted to dissipate over Mexico by early Sunday. However, Grace's remnants are expected to continue moving westward and emerge over the eastern Pacific Ocean off the west coast of Mexico by Sunday afternoon. Environmental conditions are forecasted to be conducive for development, and a tropical depression is likely to form by early next week while the system moves westward at 10 to 15 miles per hour away from the Mexican coastline. So it could form here, but it has got a chance before it moves up north. So it could become a brief, short-lived tropical system. So anyway, let's talk about the one in the Atlantic. Yes, it did get downgraded today because, there's not really much of these cloud tops in the center. See, it's got some wind shear right now. Plus, that Saharan air layer is got dry air wrapping around its center circulation, which is making all of this convection displace from the system, and plus you got some wind shear as well. So what does look promising though is that if we go into the Atlantic, what does look promising is next week in September you do have some stuff that will form here and go like that. But next week GFS is hinting something should form there. Something for short form in the Western Caribbean, and on the 1st of September something will come off the coast, travel through the Caribbean and hit New Orleans and Mexico. So yeah, and Grace also is our first major hurricane of the season, which actually I thought it wasn't going to get 125 miles an hour, which it actually did earlier on today, and it was actually quite remarkable how it actually done that. It dropped 40 millibars. No, it dropped 40 miles per hour, right, in 6 hours. That is crazy. It went from 90 miles per hour, right? So I was in bed when it went to 90, and it was here, right? It was there. Now, actually, it was a bit further west, right? And when I woke up this morning to put to the making landfall there, that's 125 miles per hour. It moved its forward speed, so when it formed here, it was doing this over the Yucatan like that. And then actually got to 125 miles an hour. But then Fred went like this, moved north, and then went like that. You can see. So Fred's track was a bit different, but Fred still came from the MDR. Same with Elsa. Elsa formed down here and travelled along up here like that. Well, not really. Didn't really make landfall here. It made landfall here in no, not there. It made landfall practically about there in Florida. So anyway, you got Henri here, and you got Grace there. So I will show you the models on Tropical Tidbits. Forecast models. So it does take ages because I'm using my phone and my Wi-Fi network is trash. So obviously you got this wave here, which is 1009, which shouldn't form until it gets up to about here. I don't think it will form anyway. Then you got Henri here, then you got remnants of Grace here. But if you keep watching, as you can see, by the GFS, Henri makes landfall by tomorrow on the 18-0. Grace is out over the Eastern Pacific right now. As you can see, it does reform back to tropical storm again. Don't know if it's going to become Marty or Grace. But then as you can see here, you do have a potential area of vorticity there. And another tropical wave in the Eastern Pacific. And then you do actually have a 1,005 millibar storm there. But it's not going to really do nothing, as it actually practically moves along here. If you watch that line, see, forms over here, becomes 1,002 millibar storm, then becomes 1,000 again over the Yucatan, practically stays at strength, and actually becoming a hurricane again. We're hitting exactly the same place of where Grace hit, as 985 millibars. And, well, near enough where Grace hit. Exactly the same place where Grace hit. Making landfall where Grace hit. And then, obviously, you got another potential system here. And you should... These are tropical lows. Well, subtropical, or maybe even extratropical, but they won't form. So, nothing's going out the MDR, because otherwise you would have saw something. But there is an actual tropical wave that we do have to monitor here. There's about two. I think there's one coming off the coast as well. So we have to monitor them. But this does practically does form. So we'll probably have Ida, maybe Judy and Kate. So this is on the 4th of September, and then obviously you do have another storm here, which is going to come, and then another storm here actually. So September is actually looking quite active. You've got two storms here, so actually this looks quite active for September. So far we have weak storms in September. So that will change though, as we've got a storm in the Western Pacific now. Oh my, as it literally tracks on like that, heads towards Japan. So actually, it does this, right, near landfall here, near the Japan, the Ryukyu Islands, actually being sheared at this point, because westerly shear comes like that, shear the cloud tops off, and then making another landfall. I don't know what that place is, but I know this is South Korea here. Don't know what that place is. I don't know what that place is, and I think it's off Japan or something. And then it moves across South Korea as that wind shear picks up even more, disrupting the cloud tops, And then, as it is now over South Korea, with the winds coming out from like that, so Japan do expect some surge off here a bit. And then obviously the wind shear picks up even more and increase the storm. But then actually it does decrease a little bit and start to get that convection around. But it's not this massive blob of convection here where it is misplaced, which is dry air. It could be going around the system right now. So yeah, as you can see, and then half of the centre's dry, but then you got dry air coming from this side, I think, into the system. Plus, it's being sheared from the southwest this time as well. As you can see, and just moves towards the north. This time, practically just being fully sheared, as its cloud tops are spreading everywhere. At this point, it's extra tropical, and it's nowhere to track. This time, it looks better in its whole entire life here. Does actually get its act together here a bit, but it doesn't really do nothing that much as it just heads towards the cool waters of the North Pacific as it heads towards Alaska. So, yeah. Anyway, for Henri, right. Here's what Henri looks like right now. So it's 990. You got that convective band wrapping around the center of circulation like that. You got the center of circulation there. You got this whole convective band which is producing rain for the coast. So do expect some swells coming off the coast. And then obviously as it moves like that, becomes 984 millibars with that still prevalent of giving some rainfall. That is meant to snap off, as you can see, leaving some rainfall here. But then it actually becomes stronger in the middle. So, in the 972 near these islands here, but do expect some swells off here, because you can see some tropical storm force winds here and all along here, but this is where the landfall site is, I think. Wait, landfall site is here, so yesterday I was right. Just wicked to a catwalk, but then makes landfall over here, so do expect the surge over here as well to be prevalent along these coastal areas here. And then obviously it moves inland after it makes landfall, quickly dissipates and goes along that way, I think. That's what happens. Yes. At this point, it's fully extratropical. Still delivering some good damage though. As you can see, heads towards into Canada, past over Newfoundland. This time practically is nothing, just an extratropical system. As it merges back over the waters, it does actually head towards the UK. At this point, barely anything of the storm is left. And at this point, it's being shared as an extratropical cyclone. So, yeah, just, expect some average conditions on this system right now. H1 for Henri. I don't know what the H1 is saying for Henri because I haven't checked H1. But the H1 is saying it's stronger. And it doesn't have that band like it does. So, obviously, it gets that band like that. But it's a prevalent towards this bit here. And then, obviously, it becomes a category 2. Might become a category 3, but that's not on the cards. So you can see at this point, dry air starts to get into the system. At this point, plus the sea surface temperatures here are cooler than average. Down here was warmer than average, because if you pull it back to here, see, it's in warm waters. As it moves towards the north, it gets cold. And then obviously, it's weakening at this point as it's in cooler sea surface temperatures. Plus, wind shear picks up a bit more. And plus, dry air is starting to entrain the system as it starts to head towards the north over the landfall site. Which the landfall site is somewhere here. So do experience some swells along the coast, from South Massachusetts, inland, Mexico City, New York, should I say, New Mexico. You might get a bit of rainfall from this system. I don't know if you're going to get impacts, but it's going to be a quite a big storm as it gets back here. Not as big as Sandy though, but you can experience some tropical storm force winds here, even up here as well, and even some rainfall here as well. As it moves overland, you could still have that surge here with rainfall as it's literally disappearing overland, which it doesn't as it loses all its structure. And this time it's an open wave, as you see the centres here. Looks like wind shear is tearing it off land, on land. I don't know if there's mountains here. But, yeah, you will get some rainfall of this system here. All along here, so do expect some rainfall. And as you can see, it moves off the coast like that. But what the H1 is saying is it's going to be a massive extratropical storm with barely any convection on this side. So all the convection will basically be on this side of the system, with barely any on this side, which it'll be an extratropical storm at this point. But the sea surface temperatures are cooler than average. They're like 19 degrees here. So, yeah, it should head towards England. If not, it should head towards Iceland and Ireland. So, yeah, I'll quickly show the satellite imagery of of Hurricane Henri now. And actually, here it does not look good. You see there, it does not look good on the IR. But on satellite imagery, as you can see, it does start to get that spin. As you can see, it's got the outer bands here. It does have that convective flow, but it has that outer bands there as well. Shear is still prevalent along the system. It's not as strong as it was earlier, when the storm was just literally had an exposed low level central circulation with its convection like that. It's now actually looking a bit better than it was earlier on, but as it got all this convection here, which is indicating of its breathing healthy. It's just that when it gets up here, you can see it's brown bit here. I'll show you water vapor weight and see what water vapor shows us. So you should tell when it's so it's actually in a moist environment, so dry air won't actually be a problem for this storm. This here is actually where the little areas is, but here, this is where the dry air is here. So here, that dry air might drain a little bit into the system, but it should organise itself. Dry air is still over Florida. There's a bit drier down here. But overall, where the system is, it's in a healthy environment. It's breathing well. Wind shear's still, still prevalent, but yeah. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more latest videos on the tropics. But it just does not look good as like yesterday when I know yesterday it was being shared. It was over here yesterday, and here yesterday, and here this morning. But when it was making that trek, it looked better. Honestly, I thought it was a hurricane here, but then got downgraded here, and then got upgraded here again. Because obviously, it was supposed to do this track right here, so it would have went like that out towards the sea. I would have thought it would have came a hurricane maybe there, but or somewhat here. But it actually went westward, a bit westward, and they were hinting of that. But then it moved more westward like that, and went like that. So this area was in the cone, as the cone was going like that. But and then it shifted more westward to like that. And then now it's shifted even more westward like that. So now, I know it didn't track close to the Carolina coast or the Outer Banks. It did go like that, and then it's going like that. So, do I expect some tropical storm force winds? But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And do I experience some squally weather and some squally winds of this system tomorrow as it heads towards the north here? So anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. See you all in the next video. Peace and have a good day.